Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. And today we're taking a look at finishing up our look at the Wave 2 Legacy United. For now, this is Leader Class Sandstorm. Sandstorm is
Changer from the G1 universe. Um, the name's been around for a while. Different characters, usually meant used to homage this original character. I actually fondly remember the character from season 3 of Transformers, as it had a bit of a story arc with its friend, Decepticon Octane. And I liked that the fact that even back then, they were starting to show that just because they're a Decepticon doesn't necessarily mean they were bad guys, as Octane was just a businessman, hustler, what have you, and could, be friends with someone like Sandstorm. We're starting off in its helicopter mode. It's always funny trying to figure out like what mode to start in and how I want to take the transformation with these triple changers, because I try to be a little bit different than what other people might do. But the rotor blades do spin very nicely. I actually like how they handle the rotor blade, and we'll get into that more with the transformation. Now, in terms of accessories, Sandstorm does have this little uh, small gray blaster that really just pegs into the forearm. More on that in a little bit. And then the main gun right here, which can be used. Also, as the justify leader class price point accessory, we have this rescue cage that, okay, first of all, let me just show as I remove Sandstorm from camera view. The winch is actually tight enough that you can hold the cage at any level, but it can, wind up, pulls out. And one thing I really want to point out, as I'm going to struggle trying to remove this from underneath as I reveal part of the part of the I am trying to do this without I got to open up the front a little here. Sorry. It pegs in quite nicely. But all right, there we go. So got her back there. That you know, um, removing that, you do have a complete vehicle mode here. And I should also mention that um, since the dune buggy wheels are accessible, and it does have the wheels here in the back, the helicopter can roll. You do have a complete vehicle mode. There's weapon storage. It's a complete vehicle mode. And as we're going to see as we get into the transformation to the dune buggy mode, you can see how this will come in more to play. So let's just go ahead and do the transformation. The first thing you want to do is go ahead and remove the gun here. You can actually leave that gun attached. Next, what I like to do is fold up the rotor blades, and there is like a natural direction that they're going to go in, so just keep an eye out for that. Next, what you want to do is um, open up these panels here and then flip up this section right here just a little bit. And now what you want to do is detach this back section, and it's going to fold up and over. At the same time, you're going to want to get that panel down, and this will just come. And you want to make sure those are open all the way, and that will come over like that. And then rotate the blades around. There's a little groove section here that first you're gonna press down so that that rotor, the whole rotor section will collapse, and the blades will fit in right there, and then fold this panel up to cover it over. Okay, it's okay. Next, what you can do is open up these side panels here, and then rotate these little bits on the side up, and then can continue folding them around, and they're going to peg into the side of what was the tail section of the helicopter. And you can now rotate this over, unpeg the arms from the side, And we're going to lift up this chest section a little bit like so. And at the same time, you want to come in and bring up this section. And what you're going to do is fold the head back and then fold this gray panel all the way back. There are some holes right here, and this is just going to sit on the post right there. And then what we can do is just get this up out of the way. But before you push it back too far, you want to come in, and this is kind of cool. There's a little space for the peg Sandstorm in on a stand. If you flip that back, that'll form the windshield. That'll cover up. So just get that out of the way for right now. And the next step is you want to come around and flip down these panels that form, that we're covering up the wheels. And now I always screw this up. You want to rotate this around. There's a tab on the wheel that will go in the slot there. And okay, if the wheel doesn't spin, you don't, there's like another tab, this one right here. You don't want that in the way. So you actually want that tab facing inward, and that will allow the wheel to spin freely. So let's try this again, and boom, just like that. And by the way, I'm sure as we all know by now, rubber wheels, real rubber wheels. And once you have that done, just go ahead and fold down these panels here, because what that will do, as I accident, you're going to bring this chest section forward again. Oh, and I almost forgot. My mistake. You want to for these back panels right here that form the canopy of the helicopter mode. You actually want them facing inward. So you're gonna. My mistake. You want to just rotate that before you actually snap that into place. It's a simple little thing you can forget, but I mean, it cleans up. I think it cleans up the vehicle mode a little bit better. I mean, but so, and then what you want to do is go ahead and fold down the. You're going to peg the chest, will be the chest section robot mode into the back of the legs, and then fold down these panels here on the side. And there's a little tab right there that the arm sits in, and then that will, the front of the forearm will peg into the back panel there. So you have that done, and we're just about done. What you want to do now is come back to where the tail section was on the helicopter, split that open, and just fold it out flat. Now, this is the vehicle mode. This is how it looked on the G1 toy, if you so desire. Oh, and you do want that gun facing backwards. If you want weapon storage, unfortunately the side pegs aren't long enough, but the hand grip you can peg in like that. And again, oh, by the way, just check that out. It's like, look how that rolls. That's rubber tires it pegged in, and it is on an angle. I thought that maybe there might be a bit of a mistake, but no, it's actually just like that. But yeah, that's kind of cool. And yeah, I was just making sure that that was folded up. That does, stay folded up for the vehicle mode, believe it or not. It just hangs out. But I mean, that's really cool. And again, let me stress again, that is how it's done for the original toy, which, as we all know, this actually has the toy head. But you have this extra accessory. Now let's finish off the transformation. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and remove the winch from the cage. And let's just quickly roll up the string here. Real string, by the way. This will store right here on the back. And again, I want to stress this one more time. Complete vehicle mode. This all holds together, but you do have this panel that can fit in underneath just like that. That doesn't hold anything together. It doesn't hold anything together better. It just stores there, and there's tabs and slots for it. And then finally, what you want to do is take the cage part, and this section right here of the barring, you're going to slide that into the grooves there, and that'll come over, and then you can peg the gun in on the top. Now, this is how the figure looked, the character looked in the cartoon. This is the cartoon model with the roll cage. Obviously, the weapon wasn't stored on top, but, this is here. You don't have to have the winch there, but if you want this animation model, you have to include the winch. So unlike with Blitzwing and the Hulk Hands missile launchers, that you can leave them aside and have three complete looking alternate forms, to get that animation accurate and a nicer looking dune buggy for Sandstorm, you have to have the rescue winch and the roll cage and the cage included. I do appreciate how it does integrate into the alt mode. I mean, so it's really two alt modes it integrates. But now, as we get into robot mode, you're probably going to see how it doesn't work in that regard. So let me just adjust the camera ever so slightly. And we're going to go ahead and get into the transformation to robot mode. So go ahead, remove. It does, everything pegs in nicely, by the way. Let me just also add that. Remove the gun, the roll cage, all that. To remove this panel will be easier when we get into the leg transformation. I'm just going to say that right now. So go ahead, fold up this, separate what'll be the arms from the side there, flip them up like this, and now detach the chest. And this is where things get a little crazy. So we're going to fold the head section back up. And basically what it's going to do is it's going to collapse inward so that gray panel is actually on an angle. You'll bring this section up, and there are tabs that will, right where my fingers are, that will go into slots here on the side, and this big hole right here will receive a peg. And you just got to play with it a little, get it all lined up. There we go. And here's my problem. It doesn't really hold that well. I've tried, I've really tried to figure out if this is actually how it's supposed to really go. I think that's, it's you get it lined up, and something's pushing back on it, and I don't know what. And it first of all, it just looks weird because it does make it a little difficult to get the head in, but to rotate the head. But yeah, you think you want to bring it down like that, and then but then this hinge will go over the top. So you have to have this sitting up on an angle, and it's just it's a little frustrating because it makes the toy a little more difficult to handle. And it's like you want to, and I don't know, maybe it's like I'm pressing something wrong. That's about it. It's actually not that bad until you start moving the arms around and stuff like that. So speaking of which, go ahead, extend the arms at the forearms, and you see what I'm talking about right here with the chest coming down, and it's stuff like that when you start having to transform it. And it just, I mean, what am I, I mean, I just, it feels like I'm missing something, that there's like a connection that I'm just not getting. And I don't want to take up too much time on it because like that. But and then go ahead and open the forearm, rotate out the fist, close it back up. Go ahead, rotate this gun around, which, by the way, this gun looks a lot like the gun that Springer used in the movie, that wrist gun. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some shared tooling between Sandstorm and Springer. And man, this chest this actually has gotten worse. So now I'm kind of like, did I really miss something? And you know, you see, and you can't keep it out like that. And you try to bring it down all the way, and then it doesn't allow the chest to come up and lock into place because that section is blocking it. So it has to sit on that angle. So I just think maybe this was something that could have been worked out a little bit better in the design. But okay, so you have that done. Um, Next, what you want to do is, this will give you the space now to pop out the panel here. And here's the part that I'm a little concerned about over time. The legs actually telescope down. So just grab a hold of something and pull just like that, and that'll bring the legs down. Obviously, as we all know, over time, telescoping bits, especially when there isn't a secure locking point, that will loosen up over time. So go ahead, bring the foot forward, turn around, fold out the panel here. This will form the heel. There was some concern about the feet. We'll take a look at it in a second. I mean, it doesn't look that bad. It could be worse. I mean, that is accurate somewhat to the animation model. And to finish off and clean up the leg, you want to just fold up the panel here. There's a small tab that fits into a notch, like on the hinge there. So, I mean, it's there, but all in all, I mean, here you go. Here's Sandstorm in its robot mode. You are going to probably knock those panels loose a little, but there he is. I mean, chest issues aside, it's not that bad of a transformation. So it is kind of cool to see it like that. Obviously, here's the handgun. You can put it in here. In terms of weapon storage, you do have a couple holes here at the top. I think I'm trying this live now. Here we go. Oh yeah, you can peg that in, no issue. Now, for the roll cage, the way that it's shown is you just put it back together. You know, you do have those three separate pieces, just like that. Oh, do I have it? Do I have this? Oh, maybe I gotta have it the right. Tell me there's a right way and a wrong way. Yeah, guess there was. All right, so peg that together like that. Put this in the top, and you're supposed to sling it from the bottom of the fist hole on the opposite hand, like that. And there's the chest popping out. So there you go. I mean, obviously, if you want, you can have this here, like that. And let's see if it'll work on the back here, and that holes we have. Yeah, it works. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You can kind of wedge it in, like have it hanging off the back. Not that this figure isn't back heavy enough, but yeah, so this is how I would probably display it. And to be honest, I don't think I would use the rescue cage parts. But in terms of articulation, you do have universal joint at the shoulder, swivel at the bicep, double over 90 degrees, fist rotation. The head, that is toy accurate. Hasbro has said that they're going to try to get a cartoon version out. We'll talk about that at the end. Nice blue eyes. Does have waist articulation, a little limited by the back. And I do appreciate the back does fold up nicely. So there is that. And of course, you have the knees, ankle pivot, foot articulation. So you got some movements. Like I said, not a bad figure, just not the best. The chest is really like killing me on the figure here. So, yeah. How about we pause right now and we'll come back. Overall, I like Sandstorm. I find that actually the transformation to be the easiest of the non Titan Master triple changers we've gotten. I mean, Blitzwing was a little more involved. Springer was like, oh boy. So this actually isn't bad, especially going between helicopter and dune buggy mode. There is some cool stuff there with the folding of the wheels and how things tuck up. But really, the robot mode, that chest, the fact that it just does on my copy, yours might be better, just doesn't compress easily or cleanly. That really upsets me, and that kind of bothers me to a point where, it really just takes a lot of the enjoyment of the figure away from me. As with all the modern triple changers, the fact that they've been bumped up to leader class with additional accessories, kind of, yeah, nickel and diming in my opinion. But and especially with Sandstorm, that like rescue cage thing, it's like, I mean, who's really going to use it? And then you end up with a vehicle mode that's toy accurate, which is good for the toy head, but then you add the parts and it just looks a little more complete. And I think at the leader class price point, they could have worked some more stuff in if they wanted that look. Speaking of the head, the designers have said that they are going to try to get the cartoon head out at some point. Now, you can't believe anything a designer or anybody from Hasbro says, because at the end of the day, they're going to do what's best for making money. So, with that being said, if you want to take the chance and wait, and it might be a year or two until they release the toy accurate head on Sandstorm, and probably with a more cartoon style deco, go ahead. But keep in mind, there's a good chance that release may never come, and by that point, Sandstorm might be gone from shelves and going for a premium on the secondary market. So it's up to you. The fact that we are getting Sandstorm kind of leads me to believe that within the next year, maybe 2 years, we're going to get a Tankor, and I would hate to have a Tankor without Sandstorm, and vice versa. But it really is hard to predict, what's going to hang around, what's going to disappear, what's going to shoot up in value. So there's that. But I wouldn't say it's another banger of a figure. but this is actually certainly way better than stuff we've gotten in the past year. It's just, again, that chest. I mean, it's gonna. I'm gonna be angry if I find out I'm doing something horribly wrong. But it was like that when it came out of the packaging. So yeah. But that's about it for the review. If you like this review, like, comment, and subscribe. I do appreciate you guys taking the time out to watch my videos. I do have a Patreon. It is www.patreon.com/chuckdog1999. All I ask for is $1 a month, $12 a year. You know the spiel. That just helps keep things like running a little smoothly on the channel here. But if you can't swing it, I more than understand. Your views are more than thanks enough, and they're especially appreciated in times now, as I've mentioned. The YouTube algorithms are now favoring unmonetized channels and promoting them, since they get 100% of the ad revenue instead of having to share the ad revenue with a guy like me. So, as always, watching my channel and the other smaller but established channels really does help and keep a synergy going in the community. So, once again, that's about it for the review. This is your old pal Chuck for G1 Sandstorm. We will see you next time.